Hello, I'm Graham Elwood, and you are watching and listening to the Political Vigilante. So, the NFL has now said that it will not force its players to stand during the national anthem. Of course, Trump came on Twitter and, they're bad Americans or whatever, this great country, blah, 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 blah. There was an article in USA Today in 2015 about a Republican Senator, Jeff Flake from Arizona, was asking the Department of Defense about how much money it is paid pro leagues. And this is back in 2015. This Republican senator was like, wait a minute. We want to have the National Guard present the colors or something like that, and we can use that. Okay, they're doing that for recruiting. That's fine. But paying sports leagues, he really wanted to go into an investigation about this. In this article, I found it online. Someone reposted it on Twitter because why isn't this question being asked more now, right? Which shows, and again, I've talked about this before, one of the reasons why it's hard for me to watch the NFL, and now is it's just pushing the war machine. And this paying, the NFL started getting money from the Department of Defense in 2009. Players prior to 2009 were in the locker room during the national anthem. So this article, we're going to go into this about so Jeff Flake sent a letter to the Secretary of Defense back in May of 2015 and the Chief of the National Guard and asked the Department of Defense to supply the total amount it has paid pro leagues and franchises since 2009 for promotion material and complete details of the number of paid salutes for honoring members of the armed services and amount spent on such salutes. This is what this senator said, this makes a very good point. Quote, while it may be appropriate for the National Guard or other service branches to spend taxpayer funds on activities directly related to recruiting, Flake wrote, giving taxpayer funds to professional sports teams for activities that are portrayed to the public as paying homage to the U.S. military personnel would seem inappropriate. So the military machine has spent all this money to equate the national anthem with the military. And you must stand and support the military. This is something Noam Chomsky talks about. This is something Chris Hedges has talked about. And this is what happens when we get into this type of endless war. Then any criticism of the state, you're a bad American. You don't stand for the national anthem. This happened in Germany in the 30s. And I'm not overreacting. And that's a problem that has happened for several decades, is people on the left have always jumped to the Nazi Germany equation, and therefore they cried wolf. So anytime anybody did anything, oh, Nazi, it's like the Nazis. And it's like, that was said way too much. Now we're actually here, and it is really looking like that. And it's really scary, and it can fall on deaf ears. But let's go into what they have done and how the corporate military state has been doing this, the amount of money they have been spending. But again, what this senator said, such promotions conjure up feelings of patriotism and pride for more sports fans, and the revelation that these are in fact paid arrangements is disappointing. According to the report, the New Jersey Guard and Department of Defense paid the franchise a total of $377,000. This is to the Jets, the New York Jets. $377,000 from 2011 to 2014 for in-game salutes to members of the military and other military-themed advertising. So anytime they stand up and support this soldier, and everyone applauds, that's a paid thing. And that interview that Bob Costas gave, he made such a great point. He's like, it's great to support the military, but why aren't we, every game, we support only the military? Why aren't we supporting a teacher, a nurse, an EMT, a firefighter? Someone that's just runs a non-for-profit. Why aren't we saluting them? At the WNBA, they've saluted all different types of people, not just military. Probably because the military is like, there's not enough people at those games, so we're not going to spend the money. But I'm going to give you some more stats here. During 2012 and 2013 NFL seasons, the New Jersey Army National Guard paid the Jets $97,000 and $115,000 for a wide range of advertising and promotion, including a video board feature recognizing hometown heroes and 500,000 digital banner impressions inside MetLife Stadium. Jesus. The National Guard will devote almost $1.3 million to NFL advertising during the 2015 season, spending $225,000 to advertise and market the New England Patriots and another $200,000 to the New Indianapolis Colts. Wow. This is just... Okay, I mean, I understand you can make the argument that the military needs to recruit. We don't have a draft, so they need to spend money on recruiting. But this is just like pretty egregious. I mean, this is just like everybody rise and sit in, and salute the new Ford Mustang. Pay homage to the Ford Mustang and be a good American. I mean, how is it any different? The National Guard will spend another $2.8 million in advertising across a gamut of non-NFL sports, including college programs such as University of Alabama, $22,000 to them, University of Connecticut, $99,000, Atlanta Braves, $150,000, NASCAR, $200,000, NHL Boston Bruins, $130,000. Yet budgetary and resource limitations have led the National Guard to scale back on its promotional relationships with members of the NCAA, Major League Baseball, NFL, and NBA, according to Brown. The Reserve Force has decreased sports marketing spending nearly 70% during the last fiscal years. All right, okay. And they're saying, this representative for the National Guard is saying we're not really doing a lot of this sports stuff anymore. We should really be asking these questions even more, And the fact that it's not, oh, America's so patriotic. It's America's a war machine. It's like you go to an NFL game and the Jets fly over and there's a flag waving. It's like I'm watching Triumph of the Will. And now even, they've got recruiting videos for young women. The Marines have one. This shows this young girl stopping girls bullying another girl. And then she's playing college rugby. And then she's boom, 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 boom. She's going through boot camp. And then she's fighting for the Marines. And that ad aired before I saw Wonder Woman. All right. It's the war machine spending all of this money. And now it's appropriated sports, specifically the NFL. And so then if you take a knee protesting some social injustices, which is the most American thing you can do. This country was founded on protests. When they say, oh, Kyle Kaepernick and these NFL players, they're bad Americans. Oh, then who else was a bad American? George Washington was, Thomas Jefferson was. They were bad Americans. How dare they go against the rule of King George? How dare they? How dare they? So, more ridiculous corporate hypocrisy to fuel the corporate state and the war machine. And this question was being asked over 2 years ago. So I hope some more senators start asking this question. Why don't you ask your local representatives to ask these questions? I'd like to see their response.